For over 1,000 years, Europe was forged in the fire of transformation, an age we now call the Middle Ages. It was a time when sword and prayer governed the fate of every man, and the destiny of entire kingdoms often rested in the will of a single ruler. From the ashes of Rome to the rise of fledgling nations, the continent was torn by war, famine, and plague. After the fall of Rome, Europe was left fractured. Power shifted to warlords, petty kings, and chieftains fighting for land and survival. In this broken world, new kingdoms rose, slowly, brutally, built on conquest and fear. Castles of stone emerged as fortresses against both man and fate, while fields soaked in blood became the price of sovereignty. Knights armored in steel became the symbol of this new order. Bound by oaths, yet driven by ambition, they fought not only for their lords, but for wealth, honor, and the promise of redemption. Wars were constant. Borders changed with each campaign. Battles such as Hastings, Legnano, and countless forgotten skirmishes shaped the map of medieval Europe. And beyond the borders of Christendom, a greater fire was lit: the Crusades. Armies crossed seas and deserts, bearing the cross into the Holy Land. For many it was a holy mission, for others a path to plunder, absolution, and glory. But those who returned often carried back more than scars. They brought with them foreign fears, unknown tales, and shadows that never left. As kingdoms grew, so did the church's power. Popes and bishops rivaled kings, shaping not only faith, but politics and war. Monasteries became wealthy estates. Cathedrals pierced the skies, raised by the hands of thousands, while beneath their altars, whispers of sin and heresy echoed through stone. But life for the masses remained harsh. Hunger, poverty, and disease plagued the land. Peasants toiled in fields they did not own. Children starved in villages forgotten by lords. And then came the plagues. The Justinian plague, a shadow from the east, struck in the 6th century, decimating early medieval populations. Centuries later, worse followed. The Black Death arrived in the 14th century, carried by ships and rats. It wiped out nearly a third of Europe. Towns fell silent, cities rotted, entire families vanished overnight. For many, it felt like the end of the world. Superstition ruled the hearts of those left behind. Fears of witches, demons, and heretics spread like wildfire. It took only a rumor, and the flames of judgment followed. At the stake, fire consumed not only the accused, but the fear of entire villages desperate for answers. In this world, the church was both sanctuary and executioner. It promised salvation, but often delivered dread. And behind monastery walls, the shadows only deepened. The night no longer held Europe in fear alone. Fear traveled with its armies. From the late 11th century, Christendom launched the Crusades. Thousands of knights and peasants marched east, drawn by faith, fury, and fortune. They crossed mountains and deserts, leaving bones in the dust, seeking to reclaim Jerusalem. What began as a holy mission became a furnace of blood, where piety and violence merged. Cities burned, the innocent and guilty fell alike. And when the Crusaders returned, they brought more than relics. They brought new enemies, old hatreds, and strange truths that would haunt Europe for centuries. But the fire of crusade did not die in the Holy Land. In the north, a different war took shape. The Teutonic Knights, warrior monks clad in white cloaks and black crosses, brought the sword to pagan lands. In the Baltic, they waged a ruthless campaign of conversion and conquest. Villages burned under banners of faith. Temples were torn down, and churches rose in their place. The sword and the cross marched side by side. To resist was heresy, to submit was survival. Yet even as they claimed to bring light, their path was drenched in shadow. Beneath the banner of Christ, the Middle Ages waged its darkest wars, not only of land, but of the soul.